What is soldering? Well, soldering is effectively taking a metal and bonding it to other items. And the only two things you really need for this to get started is a good soldering iron and solder. There are a couple of other toys you can have, but we can talk about that in a later video. First things first, wet your sponge and then dry it out with a squeeze. Once you've got it placed back in there and safe in its home, go ahead and turn your soldering iron on. Put it to about 750 to melt it for both, in our case, lead solder, but in the future also non-lead solder. Once you've got your wires all twisted up and put in your helping hands, go ahead and give that tip one more clean before we tin it. Tinning is going to allow that solder to flow a lot better. And then you're going to want to go underneath the wire with the solder and coming in from the side with your soldering iron to really get a nice bead on there. Go ahead and clean it one more time. Once you do that, go ahead and put it back in its holder and test your bond. If you can give it a firm pull, then you know you did a good job. Now there are a couple of options you can do to insulate this. The first one is just with regular electrical tape. If you go ahead and wrap it around there, you'll see it forms a pretty good bond. The second option is with heat shrink tubing, which responds to heat by shrinking. So go ahead and take it, slip it on the end, and then carefully heat it, being sure not to melt it, as it can do that. Once that's done, go ahead again and test your bond. See if you did a good job. And that's it, guys. The wonderful world of soldering 101. You don't need a lot of things to get started. Honestly, you just need some solder. Lead solder is going to flow a lot better, and a good soldering iron. I'd recommend this one.